Good afternoon, super friends, and welcome to the Monday, February 2nd edition of the Sacred News and Weather. Happy Imbolc. Does one say Happy Imbolc? I'm not really sure. Today is also the Jewish New Year of the trees, Tu B'Shvat, and today is also a celebration of Saint Brigid, or just Brigid if you are not of the Catholic religion. It is a day where we celebrate the quickening of the light, meaning the halfway point between solstice, December 21st, just 6 weeks ago, and the coming of the equinox, which is, we know that during solstice, or after solstice. Solstice is the return of the light, but we don't actually really begin to feel it, notice it physically in our lives, and maybe even feel it in our bodies. Really, until right about now. We have Punxsutawney Phil in the US. I don't know if he saw his shadow or not. I'm not paying attention. But it is that midpoint. It's that midpoint between solstice and equinox where in the tree of life and in the trees, the sap is beginning to rise. So we're not really talking about the budding here. We're not really talking about the fruiting, despite the fact that I live in Northern California and some of our trees are budding and fruiting right now. It's a little disconcerting. Um, we're not talking about the outward display of anything right now. We are talking about the inner workings of the rising of the energy. I can feel in my own body, and you may hear it in my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm not sick, but I'm having an asthma flare, and so I'm a little shaky from the medicine, and my voice might be a little creaky today. But I can feel that inward feeling of the energy shifting between the snake and the fire horse, of the energy shifting between we are coming out of winter. We're still in winter. I don't want to squash your desire to stay inward and be slow. In fact, especially after that Leo full moon this weekend, there is kind of a call for slowness right now. So if that is you, that's just fine. But I want you to know that right now, just as the light is quickening, just as we're beginning to notice, oh, it's staying lighter longer now, in our inward journey, that sap is rising up in the trunk of our tree of life. So it's coming, our roots are being nourished, the sap is rising up, there's flow coming up and through and into our trunk. And we are still being encouraged to stay inward with what is rising up in us. I feel like today, but just this time in general, is a real invitation for us to come inward and stay inward and honor all the complexity of who we are right now. We tend to pick and choose what we like about ourselves. We tend to pick and choose what we like about where we've been and what stories we want to tell and what stories we're proud of and what pieces of us we're proud of. But I feel like there's a real invitation today for us to notice all of who we are, all of the complexity of who we are, all of our quirks and maybe our faults and all of our wounds and also all of our blessings and all of our good stuff and all of our joy. I'm noticing, because I am under the weather, that I'm having difficulty, real difficulty, like accepting help because I'm not under the weather enough for me to feel like, oh, I should ask for help right now. And it's just that is one of my quirks. That is one of my own wounds of being that overly independent, like as a trauma response. And so I'm bringing that forward because maybe there's something like that that is present for you right now, something that you might have once found honorable or like a a something that like was pleasing to you or a pleasing part of yourself. I don't need any help. I don't need any assistance. I can do it myself. And the energy of today is asking us to look a little deeper and ask yourself why it is that you might not be asking for any help. Or maybe for you, it's something different. Let's see if I can get a different thread of energy for us. And by the way, I didn't give you my little preamble. As with anything I do, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. These messages are channeled, they are timeless, meaning if you're tuning in today, February 2nd, in the 2-2 portal, amazing. But if you're tuning in somewhere down the line, there's likely going to be something here for you. But if you are not seeing yourself here, go ahead and turn me off because I am not for everyone, and not every message that I deliver will be for everyone. Okay, there was my preamble. So I'm just going to be quiet for a moment and I'm going to just listen for what else might want to come. You see me doing this. There's a thread here that I'm following, and it's appearing as an actual thread. It looks like it's not like a string kind of thread, but it looks like a thread of plant matter, of plant material. And what I'm seeing here is actually it's bringing me down to the place of where a seed might be, like deep into the earth. If I'm following it down, 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 it's a seed sitting in earth, in the darkness. And of course, that's where we are right now. These seeds are perhaps starting to crack open just now, but you don't need to concern yourself with that. I'm just going to deliver the message and I don't want you to do anything with it at this particular moment. But the images of this seed buried beneath the earth, and some of them are starting to crack open and sprout, but some of them are in that like pressurized place where it's like everything is getting too tight. And we've had this discussion before with snakes shedding their skin, where everything gets too a little bit too tight, and when they get a little PMSy and they want to like really push themselves against things to get that skin off. That's the energy that I'm feeling here in the soil right now. And for some of you, there's this impatience. There's this impatience for like wanting to move forward and wanting to go forward with the energy of what is contained in this seed. And what I'm feeling here is just be with the energy of the seed and trust that the seed is going to crack open in its due time. Excuse me for just a moment. I'm going to cough. There's an impatience and a desire to like, let's get the party started. Let's go. Like, this is like almost too much to bear, this all that's contained in here. And I'm sorry, I feel like you probably want me to say, like, go ahead and let it burst forth, but that's not what I'm saying. There's still a little bit more time. There's still a little bit more gestation that wants to happen. The next image that comes here of that seed is also of a very pregnant mama, that feeling of, being 38, 39, 40 weeks pregnant and feeling like you can't get comfortable, you can't sleep, you have to pee every 30 seconds, you can only take 2 bites of food because everything is being pushed up. It's that feeling as well. It's that feeling of being heavy with what's to come, but and anxious for it to just happen, but it not being the time for it to happen. And there's that invitation to really continue to root yourself in and allow the nourishment of the soil to just hold this seed in the darkness and to encourage it and to trust the wisdom and the blueprint inside of the seed to burst itself open. I am also seeing, and this is not going to be for everyone, this feels a little bit specific. So, again, take what resonates. But I can also see in this row of seeds, if we have a row of seeds happening here, there are some that have already cracked open, but they're not going to grow. Like there's this feeling of like duds, like dud seeds. My assistant this morning, she's a farmer. She and her husband and her 2 boys are they farm land and they raise chickens and turkeys and cows and the whole bit. And she was talking to me this morning about how they had something ridiculous, like 26 turkey eggs, only expecting like maybe half or less to hatch. And she had like all of them but one hatched right now, and they're like overwhelmed with turkeys. And so this is sort of the opposite here, where I see this row of seeds planted, and I can see where some of these seeds have just cracked and they are not going to grow. And I can feel this energy of like, do I still kind of try and force it and make it like, do I still pour energy into it? Do I water it as if it's going to grow? And here's where the element of discernment needs to come in, because some of you already know that that seed that you've been trying to water, that seed that you planted, the seed that you've been trying to water and nourish and grow that you're sitting on, you already know it's not going anywhere. And so you are being invited to actually just let it go and to put your attention, your energy into gestating something that actually does want to grow with you. And again, that feels specific, it's not going to be for everyone. But some of you already know that you have been like hoping that something that you are nourishing that has never ever truly nourished you. And I feel like there's a key, that's the key here. It's like there's no reciprocity in this particular seed that has cracked open. It's just this almost like demand for you to pour in more and more and more of your energy and attention, and it's not going to do anything. So let it go. I'm going to leave that thread, and I'm going to see if there's anything else. Man, it's such a weird feeling to feel my heart rate, like my resting heart rate, at least 10 beats per minute above where it normally is because of the medication. It feels like I'm like I've been running a marathon and I'm sitting still. Mm. I'm just listening. I feel like I already touched upon this, but I'm being shown the imagery again of the sap rising up into the tree and allowing the tree itself, the trunk of you, the whole of you to be nourished. There's a real call again to honor every one of your lifetimes, your hundreds of thousands of lifetimes in this body and your hundreds of thousands of lifetimes in your other cellular forms. Today, this week, just honoring all of who you are that brought you to this place where you are gestating this seed, or where your own earthly tree of life, the tree of life that you embody here on this planet, is being nourished, allowing that nourishing Mama Earth energy to rise up into your trunk, knowing the trunk of your tree is your heart center. It's everything, it's the roots and below coming into your heart center. And it doesn't need to come up into the branches just yet. Just like the trees out in the world, the sap is just beginning to rise. What will come is not yet ready to be here. You are meant to stay in your heart center. You are meant to stay in your body, embodied with this nourishment, and allow yourself to rest here and reflect here, knowing that in just a few short weeks, sorry, there's a big truck passing by, in just a few short weeks, it will be time for that seed, the seed that is going to germinate, the seed that is going to gestate into a new tree or a new flower or a new plant of some form. In just a few weeks' time, that seed is going to spring forth, come out through the soil, and begin to grow. But now is not that time. Be with yourself, be with the sap in your own beingness, and allow yourself the time and space to reflect. Okay, I think that's what I have for you today. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm also going to post a link down below to a podcast interview that I did last week with a wonderful, she's Dutch coach, Barbara. She's living right now in Germany. And we did a fabulous interview about discerning the difference between your intuition and your wounding or your survival impulse, those automatic things that we do thinking they might be intuitive hits, but that might not actually be your intuition, and also talking about my own early childhood and my intuition and my gifts as a small child that then disappeared and reemerged as an adult when I started meditating. So, a little bit of my own personal story there, and hopefully something for you to learn and grow from. All right, enough of me. I will see you all on Wednesday. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Bye bye.